right, welcome everyone. Shane Carter here, Hampshire Capital. With me as always, our VP of Investor Relations, Eddie Austin. How's it going, Eddie?
Man, it's going great. How about you?
It's going fantastic, man. Happy to be back here and talking with you about another topic of interest. So today we are going to talk about construction management. We do construction management in-house, and maybe just some tips and tricks and things about construction management that folks might find valuable.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, unfortunately, sometimes when we're given, they don't even really give a scope of work. But when a contractor brings us a bid for a project, you know, that project that we've all seen is it's very vague. There's a lot of points left out. You know, there's some items that's missing. You don't know if that's done on purpose or not. You know, you want to believe that everybody's out there just being honest and doing a good job and under promising and over delivering, but sometimes it's not the case, is it?
Well, no, not always. I think I have the benefit and our company has the benefit of the fact that, I was a general contractor for 20 plus years. So I know the ins and outs of all that. But in essence, even the folks who don't have any nefarious intent and aren't trying to be, shysters in any way, there's still a lack of specificity and a lack of clarity that is oftentimes done in a sort of ad hoc scope of work that just gets written up. And so whenever there isn't great specificity and detail, you're going to have an opportunity for misunderstandings and potential for misrepresenting. Hey, I thought you were going to do this. No, I wrote it and I thought I was thinking that. And so I've learned through the years to really dig into that and make sure that there is that detail and specificity in a scope of work in a contract. And so maybe let's take a second here and just kind of step back a little bit and understand, why does Hampshire Capital do construction management? And, the answer to that really is not that we're trying to create a separate profit center and we really want to just grab as much money as we can. It's really a control mechanism for our projects. And it's a quality control, number one. It's a cost control, number two. And frankly, Hampshire Capital doesn't really profit from that at all. It's more of a control mechanism that allows us to deliver a project, more on time, on budget, and with the quality that we expect with our own in-house staffing.
Yeah, and it directly reflects to our under promise, over deliver to our investors, and by keeping projects on a correct time frame. So, one of the things that's often talked about is the business plan. And that business plan, there's a lot of construction, especially when you buy a value add property. So there's a great deal of the business plan that's wrote around that construction side of things, on painting the exteriors and redoing the floors and replacing the toilets and all that stuff. And those are separate contractors per se. So there's a lot of management that goes into that to make sure that all those people stay on budget, because we've said that we're going to renovate a piece of property and that every contractor has its own time frame to complete these projects. So having that in-house, we really, in a sense, micromanage that to make sure that we understand how much is the painting going to cost, and then how long is that scope of work, because we can also look at places we buy, the weather don't always cooperate. So when we submit that business plan, we probably don't want painters on site in February.
Right.
Or maybe we don't want them on site in December because maybe there's other things we can do. So there's inside construction that can be done. Those painters can be painting inside during that time frame. So it all comes down to that business plan, and then making sure that the contractor's bid matches our business plan. Like what are we asking them to accomplish for us, and what is that time frame? Is there a time frame in their bid?
Yeah.
Or is it open-ended?
Absolutely. And so let's talk about that for a second, Eddie. When we go into a project and have a business plan. We go out, we visit a property, and we come up with a sort of top level scope of work on what needs to be done. And we predominantly do that just from me, our partner Nick, and we're kind of walking around the property, taking a look at broad strokes of, hey, do we need to do landscaping, re-signage, parking lot repairs, roofs, windows, siding, painting exteriors, and then going into the units and understanding, okay, where's the rent comp analysis? Where are the renovated product in the market that we're competing against? What are those folks doing? What's our competition doing? Where do we want to position ourselves? What is our interior scope of work going to look like accordingly? Coming up with those interior line item details for appliances, counters, flooring, paint, plumbing, lighting fixtures, et cetera, et cetera. And really sort of just line iteming everything out to understand. And then what happens next is we go to contract, go into a full due diligence process where we are then doing a highly detailed write-up of what that scope of work is. And we're bringing in those subcontractors who are going to be doing the exterior carpentry or the exterior paint or the roofing or the paving and the striping or signage, landscaping, etc. And we're giving them that scope of work and saying, hey guys, here's what we want you to price. Okay, here is exactly what we need you to do. Although we do ask for feedback on one thing, which is timeline. How long do you think it's going to take for you to do this scope of work? Right, and we get that feedback, and then we build that into our Gantt chart and timeline and schedule accordingly. And then we hold them to that. Hey, you said it was going to take you a month and a half to do this. That's 6 weeks. We're at week 3, and you're not halfway there. What's going on? What's happening? What do you need to do to step it up to get there in another 3 weeks? And that's the level of detail and specificity that I think a lot of folks miss in their process. And that's why you get timeline drags and you get cost overruns, because you don't have specificity, you don't have time controls, and you don't have the level of detail and scope of work and contracting that holds people accountable to do what they say they're going to do and exactly how they're going to do it. In other words, what is that exact paint spec? Who's the manufacturer? What's the color? What's that color code on it? What's the sheen? What's the durability on it? This is not difficult to understand, but you'll see in a painting contractors, paint exterior gray, caulk trim and paint white. It's like, that's not enough for me. I need to see a little bit more level of detail so that we're all holding each other accountable for exactly what it is I'm getting when I'm paying you this lump sum of money.
We don't want our paint coming from Walmart or Big Lots or anything like that, right?
No, we don't. We want quality product that's going to last for years and years and years.
Another thing I would add is, sometimes when we submit a business plan or a contractor does open up some siding, exterior siding, per se, there is times that there's things that come up. Hey, some of the interior structure, these boards have been wet. They need replaced. So that's unforeseen.
Yeah.
But when that comes up, I would caution operators, sponsors, and anybody in the business, that's a great time to learn something from that. What you want to do is you want to request pictures. You want pictures of the actual damage, especially if you're operating from a long distance. Have your construction manager send pictures. What is the actual assessed damage? How much do we need to replace? And then that would be a sub bid. Okay, this particular building needs this exterior facial front and window bucket replaced, and it's going to cost this much money.
That's right.
This additional extra time. So you can build that in.
Yeah. And in fact, you bring up a great point, which, again, I think a lot of people don't do in their underwriting. Something that we obviously do is that you come up with your scope of work, you come up with your exact bids, you come up with all that information. Let's say you come up with a $4 million CapEx construction project that you're going to implement over the next 2-3 years at the property. Well, what we do, there's just a line item right at the bottom of that. It's called the contingency fee or contingency, right? And it's 10%. So for a $4 million project, we will have a $400,000 line item that's just a contingency because I've never seen a construction project go off in 20 plus years that didn't have change orders, that didn't have unforeseen things that happen like that. And you have to plan for that. You have to expect that that's going to happen. And look, if you only end up using 100 or 200,000 of that contingency, great, right? But that's just more money that goes back and can be returned to investors. But you got to plan for it, because you don't want to be doing capital calls or coming out of pocket for things that you didn't plan for.
No. Well, I think capital calls today probably hit the nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially with what's going on, because I think they see a capital call and they're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to be that kind of operator. You want to be able to plan for the fact that cost overruns happen in construction. You got to have a contingency line item. But you'd be surprised how many times we don't see that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a very uncommon, but it's a very common problem that can rear up its head real fast. I mean, think about it. If you're on the 4th story of your building and water got in the window and ran all the way down, all the way to the 1st floor, that's a lot of studs. That's a lot of 2x6s. That's a lot of headers.
Yeah.
A sprinkler leak, or a water leak that nobody anticipated, that it ran down the middle of the building. I mean, you just never know. You can do an engineered inspection, but sometimes you don't catch everything.
No, that's right. Yeah, and look, we're gonna do a lot of more of these on-site videos, Eddie, when you and I are on properties, or either one of us, where we're going to walk folks through and explain and show in real time exactly what we do and how we do it when we're doing these property walkthroughs. We've done a handful of them through the years, but we're really going to make it a habit this year to ensure that we document everything, how we do it, and really share that so that people see it and they understand it, and it hopefully adds value to others. But yeah, we have a detailed checklist, a detailed property checklist that we have, again, been a conglomeration through the years of understanding, all these key things to look for. And it's long. It's multiple pages of items to check when you walk it through a property. And everything from structural through, like you said, sort of flashings, caulkings, water infiltration issues, and obviously windows, roofing, exterior doors, the entire exterior of the property. And a big one, which again a lot of people miss, which is exterior drainage and water.
Yes.
Having been in and around building, constructing, developing, and owning assets in buildings for most of my professional life, I can tell you that the number one enemy of every single building that exists is water.
Water and erosion, I'm sure.
Water is the number one, right? So you got to make sure you understand the lay of the land. Where is water settling? Is water infiltrating? Is water causing settling in your property and your foundation? Is it infiltrating and causing mold? And what's behind that door? Is it causing erosion? Water is the number one enemy, and you have to be able to manage water on sites. And sometimes you see, older properties, built in the 70s, 80s or such, and even 90s, where their water management structures on site are just failing. And they're not channeling the water. They're not managing it. They're not capturing, conveying, if we could use an engineering term. And they need to be done properly. And that's a major, major item that I think a lot of folks overlook.
I looked at a property. It was 312 units, 2017 asset, and it was built right next to a creek. And they did not convey that. So what happened is the storm drains could not facilitate the amount of water when it rained.
Yeah.
So that water would run right behind the building. And the entire back of that building, all the foundations halfway up through there, was busted. And that's a lot of money and it was a 4-story building. So you're talking about a low-rise garden apartment, 312 units, and 5 of the buildings were completely just damaged on the foundation.
Yeah. It's wild that builders and developers and property owners don't think about that. If you want to know how powerful water is, go stand at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You give it enough time and water will carve everything. It will take mountains down. Water is unstoppable. You have to manage it properly, and you got to control it and think about how is water trying to get into my property, and how can we mitigate that. That's a major one. But look, we could probably go on like this for hours, because we need to break this up into separate videos. Into each one of these categories is in and of itself, I think, a tutorial on what we do and how we do it. And I want to save that for future content. For
sure. So to go over it real quick. So the number one thing that a good operator could do is write your own scope of work. Correct?
Yes. Write your own scope of work. Yep.
I mean, just real quick here, if you made the assumption that your exterior painting contractor is going to caulk the windowsills, and don't assume that.
Don't assume anything. If you don't see the words in the contract, then you might as well assume it's not getting done.
Right.
Which means you need to write that scope of work, and you need to have that level of specificity. Do not rely upon a contractor, because frankly, they just don't know how to do that. They know how to do the work, but in general, they don't use that level of specificity, right? And it might say replace, 286 lineal feet of fascia. All right. Well, where? What buildings?
Right.
What exact lineal, where exactly are you doing that? And it's another level of time that you have to spend to get that level of detail. But boy, it sure is well worth it when you get down the road and there's a misunderstanding, right? About
and sometimes it's an honest mistake.
Yeah, sure. For instance, that happens.
You're looking at your scope of work your bid, and you're like, this doesn't say caulking on it. It doesn't say which building. So hey, we put 300 feet of fascia in. We're good.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we replace the actual fascia that we wanted.
That's right. All right. Well, hey, great content as always, Eddie. I appreciate this, and we'll look forward to digging into more stuff on the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.